How's it going, guys? Thanks for joining us. We are the Reservoir Wolves. We are two brothers who are doing this channel to talk about movies, television, any other pop culture theories, some lists, and many movies have come out. We're just going to discuss them here on this platform. My name is Mike.
And my name is Anthony.
So it's Mike and Anthony, and we're just going to jump right into today's topic. We recently saw Sicario 2. Day of the Soldado? No, how you say it?
Soldado.
Day of the
Soldado.
Day of the Soldier. Whatever, right? That's what it translates into?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. What's your initial rating? 1 out of 10, Anthony?
I got 7.
7? I'm going to go with a 7 as well, maybe a 6. We'll see how I feel by the end of this discussion. Plot. How do you feel about the plot?
Well,
Spoilers ahead.
Yeah.
FYI.
So I felt, to break it down, I think the beginning kicked off an interesting plot. Like, the movie had a good start. And then the pacing in the middle was a little mixed.
What happens in the beginning of the movie again?
Well, in the beginning of the movie, like it shows you like a terrorist attack happening.
That's right.
And then
On the
it kicks
border.
off the whole
On the border,
like
yeah.
this gives like America finally like a reason to
Oh, the terrorist attack in the grocery store.
yeah
Yeah, okay.
to get involved, and like so they do. Josh Brolin starts this whole guerrilla war,
Yeah.
and then he recruits Benicio del Toro's character.
Yeah, well, it definitely expanded on the characters. Like, I feel like in the first one, you're obviously Emilia Blunt is the main protagonist, and then Josh Brolin and Benicio del Toro are very suspicious, very mysterious. So they definitely, hit the ground running on their characters. But I kind of didn't like the whole terrorist thing. I liked the first one because it was so, into the cartel, and the cartels they made it terrifying, especially with the intro in the first one with like the bodies in the walls and the bombs and stuff. I didn't like right off when they started with the whole terrorist thing. I was like, okay, this is gonna open up a whole other can of worms, and this isn't gonna be really a Sicario or like a cartel movie anymore. So I didn't like how that went off the rest of the movie. But what'd you say about the middle? That you said that it kind of
So like with the terrorist thing, like I wasn't worried. Like I was watching it because I'm like, okay, this is Sicario 2, like just like Sicario 1, like there'll be some crazy shit that no one's gonna expect happening.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is overall was very lacking compared to the first movie.
What?
There's not that many like the ending act of this movie. You cannot even compare it to the ending act of like the first movie.
But what do you mean by the middle? You said in the middle was like.
So as in the middle, like when the movie's kicking off, like we have like they basically like the team is taking the leader of the cartel's daughter.
Yeah.
And they have this whole thing that they're gonna start the war, and basically start this huge war between the Mexico cartels.
Mm-hmm.
And like it was starting to get good. I was like, wow, this movie's gonna kick off, and then you have that shootout with like out of nowhere, like while they're transporting her.
That part was good, yeah.
And it's like the shootout's like with the cops that are there too.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow, this is like the Mexican cartel has the cops on the payroll, like.
Yeah, didn't see that coming.
And then and then I guess like also the government then too. So I was like, it's just gonna like go through the fan, and then like this little small talk between Benicio del Toro and Josh Brolin about like he's gonna go get the girl because the girl ran off in the shootout.
Yeah.
Is what the movie becomes.
Yeah.
Like it literally like it loses all the momentum of like we need to start this war. We need to find the head of the cartel, and then even the personal reasons like the Benicio del Toro's character is here because the guy who actually ordered the death of his family in the first movie is the head of the cartel. Like in the first movie, he kills the actual hitman.
Yeah. Wait, what? That's the thing. Like I the first one. Hold on, let's tackle it one at a time. I agree with you that it kind of like lost its momentum. Like the whole thing was that they wanted to go in there and start a war between the two. Or whatever, how many cartels there were, or whatever. And I thought they did that in the first one. I didn't understand why they needed to kidnap some girl to do that. They were trying to come up with a reason to get all black, I was to say blacklist, no, but they were trying to get all black ops on this, how they couldn't be found and everything, and they kind of like they didn't even screw up. Like the guy who was in charge of it kind of like chickened out. I just didn't. It was a mess. And I just like, it got to the point where I kind of like checked out mentally. I was like, okay, and then like you said, like it's all about like going to find the girl, and then Josh Brolin gets orders to like cut ties. It's just like, why are we here then? You know. So and then the third act is just garbage to me. I just it was just, you know, it didn't make sense to me too much.
I heard like the common complaint with a lot of people I've heard is that there's no reason for this movie, and the thing is like there is, and they try to show it, but I feel like they don't explain it too well. So like in Sicario 1, the whole point is that the U.S. government is trying to stop like so much murders in Mexico by basically giving a shit ton of power to one cartel. That's what the end of like the movie is, and Emily Blunt is like pissed off. And in this movie, they don't really explain it too well, but basically that cartel just became way worse. And
is that what happens?
Yeah, and they're getting people killed in like all over the country.
What's the point of the first movie?
They have a connection to the terrorists. That's what they believe, that they have a connection to the terrorists. And then that's what starts this whole like, okay, we need to just get rid of the cartels, and then I like that because apparently like they build off Josh Brolin's character in this movie. It's one thing I feel like Part 2 did a great job was building off on Josh Brolin's character, and you get that like he from the beginning he wants to just destroy the cartels.
I don't get that feeling at all. Like I get like I feel like they're both just like gunmen. Like I like Josh Brolin. I feel like they're I don't think they're good guys. I feel like they're just like they're looking for results and they don't care how they do it. Like I don't think Josh Brolin has a personal stake in eliminating the cartel. I just think it's his job. You know, and I think towards the end of the movie you do start to see a little more of his like emotions, especially when he finds out that Benicio del Toro is quote unquote dead. But and then the whole like it like I didn't see the connection between this one and the first one in terms that they gave power to another cartel that they can control, and then this one I didn't even catch this is the same cartel. That's
literally what I was saying, that they didn't do like. The plot's there.
Yeah.
They just didn't explain it well. Like they didn't like.
Yeah.
They should have opened up explaining like what they did in the first one.
So how'd you feel about Benicio del Toro in this film?
I liked I thought he did a good job acting. I liked how they brought him in, but like I said, I didn't like the whole like half the movie's wasted on him taking care of this girl and not really seeing like his character doing anything crazy. And then there's this whole plot line where you think he dies, and then he survives. Like it's badass. Like it's actually like one of my favorite shot scenes where he's driving this car. The score from the old movie kicks in, and you can like it's very like emotional. He's like, wow, this guy's bleeding out, and like he's driving a car with a bullet in his face.
Yeah.
And you think this guy's gonna go fuck people up and shit. Like he's gonna go like it's the movie's not nowhere near over. The movie ends like 10 minutes after that.
I feel like if the movie had opened up like that, it would have been better. I feel like if it had been like literally just open up to him like tied up in the desert, and then like he gets shot, and you're like, obviously you know he's not dead, but they kind of wanted to have like that cliffhanger in the end where like they shoot him, and then he comes back. You know, I was already kind of pissed when he got shot, and I was like, all right, this movie sucks. And then he comes back, and I was like, okay, cool, he's gonna fuck shit up now. No, nothing. I like the way the movie ended, like especially that scene where he asked the kid, like, oh, so you want to be a Sicario? Let's talk about your future. Like that's cool. I just don't think that should have been something badass should have happened before that. So it's like this movie was setting up for a third one, and I don't think movies should do that. I think the movie should be strong enough on its own, and then you have a third one. I like obviously I love Benicio del Toro. I don't think he was as badass in this one as he was in the other one. I think they're kind of confused as to where they want to take him, because the last part you see him in the first one, he's like he just killed kids and like this guy. So that scene is so awesome because you're like kind of disgusted, but you're also like, damn, that's badass. He just took like the biggest amount of revenge he could take. And then this one, he's like taking care of the daughter of the guy who actually killed his family. So it's kind of like, okay, make up your mind, bro. And then obviously he didn't do much. He did the paintball trick where he like uses the pistol super fast because it has a hair trigger, and that's I think it's like the only time he really killed anybody. And I wasn't wasn't thrilled with that. What about Josh Brolin?
Yeah, like I said, I liked what they did with him, and then just overall, like adding on to what you said, like I'm telling you, I feel like the movie sort of fell apart, right? Like started to right in the middle.
Yeah.
Because you had if they would have just kept it where they didn't use the little girl too much, and the whole plot line where like, oh, we need to kidnap her.
Yeah.
And the whole movie would have just been about them starting the war, and then them eventually leading up to killing the head of the cartel. You could have had this whole thing, which would have still achieved the ending of this movie, but better. You could have had this whole thing where, like we see in the actual movie, where the American government kind of chickens out and they ordered the death of Benicio del Toro's character, basically.
Mm-hmm.
We could have had that still after like Benicio del Toro got revenge. Benicio del Toro could have survived that, and then that's why he leads off to starting his own syndicate, basically.
Yeah.
And then you could have had Josh Brolin leave the way he left too, like not believing in the government anymore.
Well, yeah, well that was kind of up in the air. We're not sure how he feels. What about visuals? I thought there was a part in the movie where I was just like, I think it's a part where Benicio del Toro was in the cabin and the girls like standing out the window, and I remember thinking like, damn, this scene sucks, man. Like I remember thinking like, if Dennis Villanueva, whatever, the guy from the first one, the director from the first one, had this script, he would have shot it well, like way better. But I remember just thinking like, damn, this is like a really weak moment. Like they're trying to build some kind of drama and like depth to both of these characters that we don't really care about the girl. Like they tried so hard to make us care about the girl, we don't care. Like I remember there's a part in the arguably one of the best parts in the movie, or it should have been one of the best parts in the movie, is the shootout between our guys and the police, right? And then the camera cuts to her crying for like 2 minutes while the gunfight's happening. It's just like, why, And I feel like that shouldn't have happened, And I think I read somewhere about the first movie, Dennis. He didn't want Sicario to be an action movie. He wanted it to be a drama that had violence in it. And that was very effective. Like when there was violence and action and gunshots, you felt like a sense of like, anxiety and apprehension for what was gonna happen. Even like the way things looked, like the guns looked real, everything looked real. And this one does have that. Like I remember the part in the gunfight where like Benicio del Toro opens the door and like he sticks his gun out in between the door and the car. And like, wow, that's really technically accurate. I guess that's really cool. But I like back to what I was saying. I really don't think the visuals were there in this one. It has some cool aerial shots, but I don't think you can really touch Dennis Villanueva.
Yeah, I think with overall movie quality, not just like visuals.
Yeah.
This movie was really missing the touch that Dennis put in the first movie, and just talking about like the way he directs. Like if you look at all his past movies, they have what you said. It's like if you look at Prisoners. Mm-hmm. Blade Runner Part 2, mm-hmm. there not that many action scenes in those movies at all, but they're amazing.
The ones that they're really
great.
Felt,
and they're super well shot. Like you feel like you're there. It's insane. Yeah. Like the last fight in Blade Runner is one of my favorite fights in a movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then in this movie, like the director didn't do too bad. I know it's one of his first movies apparently, so I don't give him
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's not bad. I don't think the visuals not bad. It's just it's hard to compare.
Yeah, this movie was definitely missing that touch, and then adding on to all these other problems
Yeah. The action, so the next point in action, the action like we said before wasn't that great. I mean that's not something the movie should rely on, I feel. But I feel like if you're gonna have action, the action it was just whatever. Soundtrack, they had the soundtrack from the first one, which is great, but I don't remember hearing anything new.
Yeah, it was mainly the same score from the first one, and I know that I think because I heard the composer died, so I think it was probably an honoring of him, which I like. Okay, I like it. Yeah. And I thought it was well used. Like the scene that I liked with him driving the car while he's injured was good, but I said it doesn't. Like they do use the score well in this movie, but
it's hard to go wrong with that score. No. I read somewhere that the score for the first one, like they went to him. Dennis went to the composer and was like, "I want something that sounds like Jaws, like a threat, and like it's not really music. It's kind of like a feeling." And I feel like that's the way to go when you're making this kind of thing. So comparison from the first one, obviously we think the first one was way better.
Yeah. For sure.
I really don't feel this movie's terrible. I just was kind of let down.
Yeah, like with all the faults that we did say, like it's not a bad movie.
Right. What about ideas for a third? Because they're obviously making a third one. I heard Amelia Blunt might return, which I'm all for. I was actually really surprised. Like I was happy that when they announced that she wasn't going to be in this one, because it was going to be more centered on Benicio and Josh. And then when I heard that Amelia Blunt might return, I got excited. I got excited as well. Because I feel like that could be a really cool dynamic to have her perspective return to the story. So
Yeah.
what do you think they'll do in the third one?
Well, I think she'll definitely come back. And then what I'm hoping is that... So there's the one thing I did like about this movie. Is not exactly the ending arc, like I told you. Like, I didn't like it. But the very last scene, like you had said, where the whole, like, it leaves off, like, a year later. This guy...
I thought he was gonna be a mute. Like, when he got shot in the mouth, they already established that he can sign. Yeah. Sign language. I was like, oh, great. Now we have Benicio del Toro, threatening people with in sign language, but no, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's cool. And then, what I got when I was seeing that scene, like, I thought he was gonna kill a kid. I was like, and I was rooting for it because the kid bothered the hell out of me.
Yeah, same.
But then, which I did like because I didn't see it coming, he actually offers to recruit the kid, which because I get it because the kid he probably realizes like he's been in that position, like the only thing you just want to kill people, like it's a effed up life. So I thought that teased this whole cool concept that this guy is probably building a crime syndicate, especially the fact that it's probably meant to like go after the American government too. Yeah. Especially because of the whole plot point where the American government wants him dead. Now, I definitely want to see what happens to Josh Brolin's character too in the third movie, and I hope he's in it because.
Well, yeah, of course he's gonna be in it.
Yeah, his character is very up in the air. Like he's starting to become like realizing like fully that they're doing things wrong and shit.
Yeah, I think the only character that I really can see that they really put some work into like I can formulate an idea as to what they're gonna do with Josh Brolin. I feel like he's not happy with the orders he was given to eliminate Benicio and the girl and all that, and he put the girl in witness protection. So I think he did a great job acting. I don't think the writing for his character was that great because I don't see I don't think they really earned that whole like, oh, I care now, like I get it, I like it, but he went from being, obviously he's been doing this sort of thing for a while. He's probably done some morally questionable things, but then out of nowhere, he's given this order to eliminate and cut all ties, and then he changes his mind. I feel like they didn't really tease that much. Josh Brolin did great when, like, I remember when he gets the order, he's like, you can see it in his face, his facial acting is kind of like he doesn't want to do it. But I feel like we don't really know the character that well, so I guess I can't really say much. But I was also kind of just like, where are you coming from? Like I want to know more. Maybe they can expand on that. So I can see how in the third one maybe it would be like what you're saying. It would be like him maybe going after the government, or maybe not so much that, but maybe definitely changing the way he does things. Benicio del Toro, I don't know what they're gonna do. I know they hinted at him going after the girl, the lady who like gave the orders to, who's kind of like the manager of this whole thing, because Josh Brolin did say, I have to do this, otherwise he might come back and kill you, which I was hoping would happen in the movie, but it didn't. So I can see where that's happening. I don't know what they're gonna do with this whole he's recruiting hitmen now. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess there has to be a payoff for that. I can see Amelia Blunt coming in as like maybe she obviously wasn't happy with what happened in the first one, so maybe she comes back with like her own team of I don't know, like she talked to the press somehow, or she's undercover, or so she's gonna expose the whole government thing, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I really don't know what else they can do.
Yeah, I think now that we're like putting it together, I think maybe would be interesting is that Josh Brolin tries to track her down. and it's his whole like aspect that he's not part of it anymore, and he wants to get her story
Yeah, maybe
out.
Maybe he changed his mind.
Yeah, like he's not like he'll be basically a civilian now.
Yeah.
And then so you have that aspect of them two working together. Then you have the government is messed up, and then you have also Benicio del Toro's whole story. So it'd be like a pretty interesting.
What do you think he's gonna do? You think he's gonna like build his own organization?
Well, I think
he's officially dead.
I think this is gonna like and so going off like what I think it would be cool.
Maybe he'll turn the kid into like an informant.
I think what's probably gonna happen if they do it like that, like it's gonna be this whole like Josh Brolin and Emilia Blunt having this whole like let's like get rid of the government in a way that like like they can tell the truth and like and I think the thing that's against them would be Benicio del Toro, his whole like syndicate, like the whole like they probably want to just kill everybody, like the whole like just going back to the first movie, whether killing everybody or like doing it in like a real like legal way.
I mean, I think that's one of the great things about this story that is, or not the Dennis, but the writer created, is that these characters are so morally interesting. Like especially in the first one, Benicio del Toro, you find out he was a prosecutor. His family died. You don't really like just the way he portrays the character is really interesting. So like were you saying, it would be really cool if he like made something of his own for the third one, and they're just like ruthless. Like they don't care about the law. They just kill like the bad guys whenever they feel, kind of like a vigilante kind of thing. Because he does say to the kid, "So you want to be a Sicario?" And the Sicario is a hitman. So maybe he's gonna turn him into like a little mini Benicio del Toro, a little mini Alejandro. Which would be fine because that kid needs the redemption. That was one of the things I was going to bring up, like side stories. The side story in the first one was great. The side story in this one was whack, man. The whole thing with the kid and his cousin, and he like, it starts off with him like having a happy home with his family, and then I don't know where he wants to be like in the cartel. Like, okay. I didn't like that too much. So hopefully the third one you see that kid like doing something meaningful.
Yeah, I agree. I felt like that side story was very, very unnecessary.
Yeah, very flat.
Like it was written for the whole last arc, which I feel like a lot of people didn't like anyway.
Yeah. So our last topic is going to be Dennis Villanueva. Do you think he'll come back?
Well, I doubt it. I heard that the new guy, he's not coming back.
Yeah.
Now I wouldn't doubt it if Dennis came back, because he wanted to come back for this movie, but he was too busy doing I think both Arrival and Blade Runner. Like those were the movies scheduled for like back to back. So I wouldn't doubt it if he doesn't have anything. Like he'll probably want to come back for the third movie.
I can imagine him wanting to come back and finish his story, I guess. But yeah, that'll be interesting to see. Anything else you want to say? I think we're done.
Nope.
Alright guys, well we hope you guys enjoyed our first discussion. We're going to be producing more content like this soon. We'll probably be doing some video game live streams or more movie discussions, any theories. If we come up with any interesting news, we'll discuss it here as well. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.